from Watches on You. We're back again at Wixon Jewelers reviewing a very special watch. Now, today we're going to be actually taking a look at a Panerai, and this is the Panerai Luminor Marina 1950 Carbotech. And it's a very interesting watch, actually, because the case is completely made out of carbon. So, you can probably tell from the side, you can see those little swirls there, and this gives the watch a very unique look because unlike most other sort of carbon fiber goods that you'll see, it's not like woven. This is actually just made out of, the case is made out of layers of carbon, and then Panerai mills it out like that, which gives it that sort of circular pattern. And it looks very, very cool and very unique at the same time. So that also makes the watch very, very light and very, very strong. And in fact, it's so strong that this watch, Panerai trusted this material in order to make their little safety sort of clip thing here completely out of carbon. So had this not been as strong, I honestly, when I was looking at this watch, I expected them to use steel for this. However, they chose to make it out of carbon, which just shows how strong this material truly is and how versatile it is at the same time. It's not going to splinter. It's just very, 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 very cool and futuristic. Hence the Carbotech name, which is a very futuristic name. But moving on to the other side, it has a metal case back, and this is most likely because I think they would get worried about the carbon sort of stripping away over time on your hand, which you might not want, or something like that, but that's not an overall concern with the rest of the watch. And a lot of watches that are made out of unique materials tend to have different materials for the case back, just because like things can rub off, or just what comes to mind is the Tudor Black Bay, and that it has a stainless steel case back, but the rest of the case is made out of bronze, and that's because you don't want to rub off the little oxidation on there, but on your hand. But anyway, moving on to the rest of the watch. So this has Panerai's new very thin movement, and that actually makes the watch a very, very thin relative to Panerai's of old, which we had reviewed some of in the past. And this makes the watch a lot more comfortable than traditional, like some of the older Panerais. And it also sort of takes the heat off of the 44mm diameter, which is quite large for a watch, but actually not that large, again, for a Panerai. Some get to up to like 48, and it gets pretty crazy. And I'm generally not a big fan of that watch, but that size, but I actually do like this 44mm size, just because it's so thin, that it's not too intrusive on the wrist. So this watch has, again, it's Panerai's 3-day power reserve, and that's a very, very proper power reserve in my opinion. Sometimes you'll see them where they're like 47 hours, and it's kind of like, come on, why wouldn't you bump it up to like 48 hours? But this totally surpasses that because it's, again, 3 days, so you've got 72 hours of power reserve. And again, that's just a very, very, it shows the performance and the technical capability that they put into the movement in making a barrel of sufficient size. So let's actually move on to a wrist shot of this watch.
Just leave it on your wrist. I'll call up the watchmaker. We'll get it sized properly for you.
So it's actually quite easy to put on the wrist, and Panerais tend to be very easy to put on the wrist just because they've got very nice leather straps and a buckle, and that's a key sort of aspect. A pin buckle is much more convenient than a deployant in my opinion, and I really, really like how they put very big, durable buckles on their watches. And this is a metal buckle, so any sort of, it's, again, very strong. There's no real need for a buckle to be light because they're pretty thin anyways. But anyways, this is a very comfortable watch. It's got a very nice leather strap, and it doesn't actually look that huge on the wrist. Granted, I do have above average sized wrists, so if that looks a little big, actually, yeah, it does look kind of big, but I mean, I probably wouldn't wear this just because I tend to stick to like 42mm and under is kind of my limit, but it might look good on your wrist. I don't know. It's not, definitely not too big like some of the IWCs that we had reviewed in the past. But all in all, this is a very high quality watch, and I think it's definitely worth checking out. I really like how that blue hand contrasts the age sort of lume there. And yeah, it's got a couple very cool style elements to it. Definitely check one out if you're in the area of, again, Minneapolis, Minnesota. We're here at Wixon. They provided this watch for us to review. If you like this video, please remember to subscribe and share. Thank you.